Old business. I have a couple of items. First, I want to report to the board about progress on subscription busing. We have been able to accommodate every person who is asked to be included in subscription busing. We've done that by adding a route and by extending a few routes. I have tried to make sure that the traffic situation has been monitored. I've contacted the chief of police in both towns to make sure of that, and I've been told that while traffic is a little bit heavier, as school has proceeded, subscription busing has been a success. Secondly, I told the board that I would apprise them of progress on the physical education exemption policy, and that the protocols for that policy were developed. They were handed out, and it is beginning. It's in place. Across the district, there were 322 students who were eligible for that particular policy. Of the 322, 148 availed themselves of that policy. So anecdotally, we asked a number of students, and it seemed as if the largest number of students who were interested in the physical education policy were seniors who tried to get an exemption during this semester of their senior year at a time they thought that they could use to put together college applications. So those two items. Finally, as a result of the board retreat, I took notes that evening and put together a draft of what might be board, superintendent, and district goals. And I wanted to pass these out, and I thought that you could look at these and they could be read and discussed at a future and voted on at a future meeting. No, it should be just one. I'll get you one.
Do we need them for us?
Yeah,
We need another one.
Can you get them?
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that the board thank Mr. and Mrs. Gilmet for graciously and generously hosting the board retreat that Dr. Hughes just mentioned and Don over to the
I would second that. That would agree.
All of this?
Aye.
So, I'm sorry, I was going to say, you take a look at these, and as I said, they can be discussed and voted on at the future meeting. I wanted to just pass these out in draft form at this point. I distilled many of the ideas that were brought up that night. I can incorporate most of the things that a majority of the board members felt were items that they wanted to see as part of the long-range goal.
When I look at this, I think that the one thing that and this is my personal opinion, but is missing off of here is a successful conclusion to negotiations for all of our open contracts. I think that may be something that I'd like to discuss with you on other future meetings that I would like to see on the board goals.
That's it for me for old business.
Yes. During the board retreat, we discussed board goals, superintendent goals, and district goals, and there were some minority views that were expressed by both Jamie and Sue that I think should become part of the public record. Because sometimes minority, I don't always believe minority views just should be disappeared, and they have a great importance in the process of the market. So I would like to add the sheet that we were handed to the board goals just as an addendum. I don't know how to call it, I guess, minority views, or just views that were not incorporated this year.
There were actually some of those
Some of them actually were,
incorporated into this.
and some of them have been done in the past.
Then what I would suggest is that did you make a copy of that?
I have a copy of it.
No, you did not make multiple copies of it.
No.
And maybe you could send that to the board in the next update,
Okay, great.
to be included with this.
Thank
Now,
you.
I have a question. Would we discuss that then when we vote on these?
Sure. This is a draft document.
I mean, if that's something that we want to discuss now. Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say that because it was done with goals,
Mine are both related to energy conservation. First off, the solar panel projects have begun at both schools. I want the board to be aware that at Mendham in particular, they've been loading the panels on the roofing system, and because of just to ensure the safety of all of our students and staff, they've been performing that operation between 7 p.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning. They started on Thursday. They anticipated they were going to have to do it for 3 working days, which will be Thursday, Friday, and then again this evening. Hopefully that they will have it completed. We notified the town. The town gave us a waiver to allow us to work because they have certain working hours. We did try to contact some of the neighbors in the area to make them aware of it because there were going to be a large floodlights and machinery operating right next door to them. So I just wanted the board to be aware of that in case you hear any feedback from your community members regarding that issue. And here at Central,
Did they start Thursday?
they did start Thursday. They'll work in the rain as long as it's not lightning because they're using a crane. And here at Central, they are moving in the same direction. I don't believe we're at that point where they're loading on the roof stick, and they will make us aware of that. The other item that I wanted to mention to the board is that we did have the ad hoc committee that was established to follow the Energy Conservation Committee. We met this evening before the board meeting to review the energy audit that we had initiated back in the summertime. We got some good feedback from the company that had done the work. What's going to happen now is that, well, first off, the audit, what it tells us is that we are fairly efficient, that there isn't a whole lot of projects that need to be initiated, but there are projects. And so our next step is that the committee is going to review the document, and then we're going to meet again and discuss what our next steps will be as far as implementation, because we have a variety of choices as to how we do that. And what we're trying to do is minimize cost and maximize funding.
North County School Board meeting. Tom, Jackie, and I attended that last Thursday. Willow Spicer, the former acting current deputy commissioner of education, was there and gave us an update on what was new at the state level, and she talked about the budget implications of pension reform, education reform. Even though there's no commissioner to lead it, Brett Scheinberg had kind of set the tone, and the acting commissioner will keep that going, even though there's no race to the top. So there will be a committee in place by the end of the month at the state on evaluation. She asked an interesting question about statewide curriculum, and because of local control in the state, if we thought as a county group that would be stepping on things too much, or is that something that the city could accomplish? Got it? Anything like that? Okay.
She was great to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to listen to her all night, yeah. Very well.
Any other old business?
When I got the board traffic dog, I took the open day enrollment, and I went back and looked at the transportation costs, and we ran some numbers for analysis, just to get a feel, because I know you said you're going to reach out to Warren Valley and try to get some explanation from the numbers. And what I did is I took the high school number of students at each school, subtracted out our Curtis Bunting kids, and then subtracted out our district kids to get a net number,